Well, hey guys. Today I thought I'd try something a little different, and I figured I would try doing a voice on my video. So today I am going to be mixing and filling tubes, sorry, lip gloss tubes, and I'm making three different colors of lip gloss today. So I have my mixing bowls ready. And unlike the first time of mixing, so my last video was my very first time ever mixing and my very first video on YouTube. This is only my second video. But unlike the last time, I'm going to actually be measuring out my ingredients. So it's going to be an actual formula today. Whereas the first time I did the mixing, I just kind of played it by how things looked and etc. and experimented that way. So right now I'm getting my Versagel ready in each container. So I'm measuring it out. As you can see, the Versagel is quite sticky and thick. And here we go. So here's the Versagel for the second bowl, and I'm going to do the same thing for all three bowls. And it was quite interesting this time around to see how my mixture turned out in comparison to the last time. And actually, you know what? The very first time that I mixed, considering I didn't actually have a formula, just a basic recipe, I didn't actually measure things out. My glosses actually didn't turn out too badly, really. Um, but this time around, I am quite pleased with the results, and um, I might experiment with um, a few variations on the formula, or I might try different formulas. But all in all, today I was actually quite pleased with how everything turned out. All right, so I'm at my third mixing bowl. It's about done putting the Versagel in the bowls. And one thing I learned, well, actually both times, it's quite a messy process. No matter how neat and tidy you can be, it's quite messy. So I think when I go to do this the next time and subsequent times, I need to lay down something on my table. These placemats that I have, they're old. I didn't care what happened to them. This process right now, I'm not selling anything at the moment. I'm just experimenting. So these glosses are not going to anyone, just me. So if the process isn't exactly perfect, it's okay at this point. So right now I am measuring out the oils that I want to put in my formula. So I have one oil here, and then I'm going to be putting another oil in. So this particular formula that I'm trying today has two oils in it. And again, like mentioned earlier, I was actually quite pleased with how this formula turned out. This is my second oil. So yeah, as mentioned before, I need to kind of change my table up for mixing because the product is quite difficult to remove from your tabletop and your placemats. Placemats, again, like I mentioned before, I didn't care what happened to them. So I think next time I will lay down like either a garbage bag or maybe perhaps I can find like a smooth surface, like a plastic, like a thin plastic surface to lay on top of the table. And it's going to make easier for disinfecting too. So it's all good. This is all a learning process. Okay, so now I'm placing the mica powder into my mixing bowls. And so the first one that you see there, I'm going with a blue color. Um, think it was called Fantasy Blue, actually. And now I'm putting in my second pigment or second mica. And that one I went with a mica called Colorful Red. And interestingly enough, when I made this particular lip gloss with Colorful Red, I was expecting something totally different than what I actually got. So yeah, so that's a good idea as to why experimenting is it's a good idea. Let's just put it that way, because things don't always turn out the way you think they're going to. So yeah, instead of getting, I mean, I was looking for a red lip gloss, colorful red, and I don't think I really got red. But all in all, I did actually like the result, but I wouldn't name it red, that's for sure. Came out more of a pinky color, but it was really nice, I have to admit. And there we go. There's the mica package there. Colorful red. And now for my third and final color. I'm going in with a mica powder called Bronzes. It's just called Bronzes. It's not called a specific bronze, just called Bronzes. Oh gosh. And I have to say, out of all three colors, I was surprised the most. There's the package there. I was surprised the most by this color. Um, it, I'd say it over delivered. So far, out of all of the glosses I've made so far, which is actually not that many, um, I'd have to say that Bronzes is my favorite mica powder so far. The gloss just turned out just so beautiful. Now, here I'm starting to mix my ingredients together, starting with the blue, mixing until I get the consistency that I want. And like I mentioned earlier, I was quite pleased with this formula. I didn't actually have to add anything um, or adjust anything. Everything turned out pretty good. Now at this point, I haven't added my flavoring oils yet, but I will be. And I have to say, this is like so pleasing to watch. I really enjoy watching the colors mix and come to life. Looks to me like the consistency here is pretty good. It's not too oily and it's not too thick. So I think what I can do now is go in with my flavoring oil. So for this blue lip gloss, I'm using the coconut flavoring oil. And I've never used the flavoring oils yet, so I'm only going to go in with like 4 or 5 drops of oil. I'm just going to use the really small thin pipettes that I have to disperse the oil into the containers. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it looks, yeah, I went with 4. I think it was like 4 to 5 drops each one. And when I finished, I found that I couldn't really smell the coconut all that much. So I think next time I'm going to double up on the amount of oil, flavoring oil. Um, each of these containers, when I was done, made 2 lip gloss tubes each with a little bit left over. I probably could have done two and a half, three lip gloss tubes. The lip gloss tubes that I used were just the squeeze tubes because it's just for experimental purposes right now. So I didn't want to use like really fancy tubes with the applicators in it because they're a little bit more expensive. Um, so yeah, I probably could have done three tubes. And the tubes that I'm using are very small. They're like just 10 milliliters. I think when I do go to sell the product, I'll be using 15 milliliters tubes because I find the 10s are a little on the small side. Now I'm going to go in and mix my uh, colorful red. I mean, pinky, colorful red mica. Now, as you can see, this is not red. It's totally not red, but you guys, it is very pretty. And out of all of the lip glosses, the bronzes one was my favorite, but this one here was my second favorite. So it didn't disappoint. It's just the name of the mica just didn't suit the color I actually got. And maybe perhaps if I put more mica in there, it'll turn red. I don't know. But I decided to keep the same formula for all three. So I have the exact same measurement of mica in each one. I didn't go, more or less for any of them to try and get a different color, etc. So, so I'm checking the consistency. It's looking pretty good. Not too thick, not too thin. And that's the thing, you don't want to put too much oils in your lip gloss because then your oil will separate from the Versagel and mica and it just doesn't look all that attractive. And of course you want to have really pretty lip gloss. I think it's just about ready for the flavoring oils. I think I was just trying to make sure it was okay, but yeah, so now I'm gonna go in with my flavoring oils. So for this particular lip gloss, I went with the strawberry, which is it's a more of a pinky gloss. So I thought strawberry, even if it was red, I think strawberry would still be good for that color because strawberries are red. But I don't know. I was just feeling the strawberry, okay, you guys. So I went with strawberry. So again, I didn't want to put too much in, so because again, experimenting, never done this before, so I just like did 4 or 5 drops. And as you can see, the drops are really, really tiny. I'm using a really small pipette. I think it's like a 1 milliliter pipette. And out of the three glosses, I'd say the strawberry had the nicest scent. So I could actually smell the strawberry in this one with that amount of drops, but I probably could have gone with more. I could have made it a bit more scented, and it is a very pleasant scent. So for sure, I'm definitely going to keep the strawberry scented oil for future glosses because I really did think it was quite nice. It's really, really nice. Yes, I have to say I was quite pleased with this experiment today. And now it's time to mix my last gloss with the bronze's mica in it. And what I found with this particular mica, it has a shimmer in it. So I guess with learning, and this is why it's always best to experiment before you actually go full throttle, is that this particular mica was quite light and fluffy. and kind of was very easily, um, it made a mess. I'll just put it that way. So I had the pigment was quite fluffy and light. And so the next time I do my mixing, I guess with all my micas, I'm going to fold the mixture into itself first before actually mixing. Because I found when I started mixing this mica or this mixture, the mica just kind of went all over the place. But yeah, this one I have to say is my favorite so far. It was just so pretty, and I just loved how it turned out. And when I put it on my lips too, it was really very nice. So definitely, definitely my fave so far. Making sure I have the right consistency. Looks good. Almost ready for my flavoring oil. Yep. Checking the consistency, making sure it comes off the spoon nicely. Not too thick, not too thin. Has a nice pull to it. And now I'm going to go in with my flavoring oil. And for this particular gloss, I decided to go with buttercream frosting. And again, like the coconut oil, I found this particular oil again wasn't all that strong. So I did the same, 4 to 5 drops in the gloss. And yeah, when I tried the gloss later on, I didn't really notice that much of a fragrance. Just like the coconut, I didn't really notice that much of a fragrance. So again, next time, I think for all three, I would definitely add a couple more drops at least, maybe possibly double up on it. So yeah, there you can see putting the drops in now. And yeah, that's about 4 or 5 drops. And then I just got to mix that in. I think I'm putting the bottle away right now. There we go. I'll mix that in. It's always interesting trying to do a voiceover after you've done the video. And also too, like again, this is all learning process. So it's not just like mixing the glosses, it's making the videos too. The very first video I have on here, I recorded it in portrait mode instead of landscape mode. And honestly, you guys, I hated it. Of course, I went out and shouted to the rooftops that I had my very first video on YouTube, but I hated it. I think the video was fine. I just didn't like the fact that, like, just for viewing purposes, it just wasn't all that great. Whereas at least, okay, fine. So I learned from my mistake, and this time around I did landscape instead of portrait, and the video looks so, so much better. You see, now I'm learning how to do voiceover. So again, all a learning process. So yeah, there you go. The gloss looks really pretty. Now I'm going to get ready to fill my tubes. So what I'm going to be using is a large syringe. I think it's like 60 milliliter syringe to fill the tubes. I chose the 60 mil tubes because I figured I would probably at one point be filling more than just one tube at a time. But what I found is it's they're really, really large. So in filling only 1 or 2 tubes, I think I should have probably gone with the 30 mils, but that's okay. Again, learning process. I'm going to start with the blue gloss and fill my tube. I think, oh yeah, I had to kind of get the gloss all in one spot. And then one of the things I forgot to do was to remove the caps on the syringes. So yeah, my word of advice, if the syringes come with a cap on them, make sure you remove it before you try putting the gloss in there. So yeah, I figured I would try like suctioning the gloss into the syringe, but I don't know if it's because I was working with such a small amount or if it was because it was my first time using the syringe or a combination of the two. But I just found it wasn't easy. So um, I'm not sure if you're going to see it in the video or not, but I think later on when I think in this video I only filled the one tube, and then I discovered that I had enough for two tubes. So then I spooned it into the top. So for the to fill the second tubes, I spooned it into the top of the syringe and then put the plunger thing in and pushed it down. And I found that was a lot easier for me. And you could probably do it either way, but just for me personally, I found that was easier. It was easier to do it that way. One of the things I also learned too was it was really, really difficult to get the gloss into like down to the bottom of the tube. And the first tubes that I filled had some air pockets in them, so they didn't look all that attractive, but that's fine. They were this gloss is for me anyway, so again, just experimenting. So it's not like it's going out to anyone. And then learning from my mistake, um, I found when I went to fill the second tube, I squeezed the bottom of the tube a little bit as I was pushing the gloss in, and I found that kind of suctioned the gloss down to the bottom of the tube. At least that's how it worked for me. And but what I would advise is that you put a pipette. Now the pipettes that I have are very, very slender, so they didn't work because I think I tried that, and it's like, okay, nope, that's not going to work because they were too small, too thin to put on the 60 ml syringes. So, but I need to get bigger pipettes and just put a pipette onto your syringe, and that will make it easier to get the gloss into the bottom of your tube, especially for like when I go to retail these and I do the 15 mils, it's going to be even harder to get the gloss into that tube. So, um, so again, all lessons learned. And so, yeah, you can see having a bit of difficulty trying to suction the product into the syringe. So there it goes. This one wasn't as bad, but as you can see, there's a lot more air going in there than product. So yeah, I think next time I will do the scooping into the syringe thing and then putting the stopper in on top of that. So all lessons learned. So here I go trying to fill the tube again without a pipette. Slow and arduous process. Yeah, I think when I discovered that you kind of have to squeeze the bottom of the tube. Yeah, see, I'm trying to tap it down and whatnot, but I found that didn't really, all that did was make more of a mess than anything. But so there you can see I'm kind of squeezing the bottom of the tube now. And then also I found that there was a lot of air buildup in the tube as well. So I had to actually squeeze that out in order to get more product in. But with each tube that I did, I only did 3 today, but I mean, with each one that I did, I kind of learned new things, like squeezing out the excess air and whatnot. Because as you can see, this one's filling a little easier than the first one. Absolutely love this color. Love it. I liked all 3 colors actually, but I really liked the bronze one. There I go, tapping again, trying to get the product down to the bottom. And I noticed too the corners are really hard to get. So like I was able to get the product down to the bottom eventually and able to squeeze more in, but getting to those little corners, like on the sides, the corners, was the toughest. When I did my second set, same thing. Like I did a second set and I filled them a lot easier, learning from my first set. But I still found the very corners of the tubes were very hard to fill. So again, I think the pipettes will really solve that issue. All right, so now I'm going to try for the the red. I mean the pink one. I have to say that mica really surprised me. I thought for sure I was going to have a red lip gloss, and I don't know. It's not red. It's pink. And I think by this time, because I learned from the first two times, I actually remembered to take the cap off the syringe. Yay me! The suctioning's a little easier, but yeah, not 100%, that's for sure. But yeah, see, I suctioned a lot easier that time, but definitely will try spooning it into the syringe next time. So right away I know, okay, I gotta squeeze out the excess air. Oh, some of the stuff you can't see it because it's off camera, but just before I removed it from the camera, you could see that I was pressing it in to push out the excess air. There I go, try to tap it down again. Like, oh, my gloss, it just had too much air in the syringe. So I tried pushing it out and then suctioning it back in again. Because if you have too much air in the syringe too, you're going to push that air right back into your tube. And then of course it's a very messy process. I had to kind of move things out of the way, get my gloss kind of in one spot. So I wouldn't say it was not a fail or anything. It's just all a learning process. And as you can see, you guys, like once you start doing this on a regular basis, time is money, right? And you don't want to be wasting time pushing out all the air and tapping the gloss down and cleaning up, your area and all that. You want to try and make it run smoothly. And so this is another reason why it's important to try and experiment and to practice before you actually go all out. Because then you know moving forward what you need to do to make things run smoother. Because yeah, can you imagine me can you guys just imagine me trying to fill like 200 tubes or something like that doing it this way? I don't think that's going to fly very well. My hourly rate to pay myself would be like, I'd be like making negative money. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's all good. I had a lot of fun with this. So now I'm like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. I'm going to show off my product, even though I have no caps on them. I find also like with doing this, because I'm a very aesthetic type of person, like I enjoy looking at nice things and I enjoy color and I enjoy just aesthetically pleasing things. So I just find that, oh, it looks like there's a little bit of a blooper there in my editing. Still learning, you guys, still learning. But yeah, I just find doing this is just so pleasing, and just in that respect. And there's just so many things I enjoy about it. And I'm just getting started. Like the sky is not even the limit, you guys. The sky is not even the limit. So now I'm putting the caps on. There's the cap. I was actually quite impressed with these tubes. Probably end up going back to the same place to get these ones. Or I don't know. I kind of wanted to get there, I'm squeezing the product out of the tubes. But it looks like sampling it on my glove. I know it's not the same as my skin, but I also sample on my lips as well and on my hand or my arm. But I have to say I was quite impressed with this formula and the consistency and the color. But just so you guys know, Um, in making these, even though I was quite pleased, I did stumble upon a way to make them even better. And I'm not going to get into what it is because I probably, if it ends up turning out, I probably won't be filming that one or won't be showing it to anyone, um, because that will be my proprietary formula. And um, that's another thing. If you come up with something that works better, here's the blue. If you come up with something that works better and sets your business apart from other people's businesses, you might not want to divulge that information. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to or not. I don't think I will. It's almost like a company giving away its secret sauce, its secret recipe. So I really don't. If this does work out, what I discovered after doing this batch of glosses, yeah, I don't think I'm going to be. I don't think I'm going to be sharing that. So, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. Oh, look, that's so pretty. There's nothing wrong with this formula at all. Absolutely nothing. You can have yourself a very profitable business doing using this formula. So, there's nothing wrong with it. But there is one key element which I'm not going to share, that is going, if what I discovered afterwards does work out, and I'm going to be doing another batch to find out. Yeah, I'm sorry, no offense, but I'm not going to be sharing that. But there you go. See, there's my three glosses. They are so pretty. I am so happy. And now I just have to kind of show them off. I have to admit, you guys, I'm having so much fun with this. It's like incredible because I'm quite a creative person, and this just like completely fulfills that need for creativity. And here I am. So with that, you guys, I'm out.